Billionaire pretends to be poor to test all blind dates. Only a single mom agreed, and what happened next was unbelievable. The waiter froze. The entire restaurant had gone quiet. Everyone was staring at the scruffy-looking man kneeling on the shiny marble floor, holding out a small, rusted ring made from an old soda can. His clothes were torn, his shoes had holes, and his hair looked like he hadn't seen a barber in weeks. But his eyes were calm, almost too calm. Across from him sat a young woman with tired eyes and a nervous smile. A little boy, barely 5 years old, clung to her arm and whispered, "Mommy, why is everyone laughing?" Laughter echoed from the nearby tables. One woman whispered, "Is he crazy? Proposing with trash?" But the single mom didn't move. She looked at the man's trembling hand and the silly soldering, then slowly took it, and she said, "I don't need gold to feel valued." Gasps filled the air. Even the waiter's jaw dropped. Then something strange happened. The man smiled, softly, knowingly, and said in a calm voice, "You just passed the test." Before the crowd could understand what he meant, he stood up and walked away, leaving the restaurant in stunned silence. 2 weeks earlier, he wasn't poor at all. In fact, he was one of the richest men in the city, the kind whose signature could change hundreds of lives overnight. But he was tired of fake smiles, polished lies, and women who saw his bank account before his heart. He wanted something real. So he made a decision that even his assistant called insane. He would pretend to be poor. No car, no designer suits, no fancy hotels. Just an old jacket, a second-hand phone, and a borrowed apartment. He told no one except his driver and his housekeeper. Every blind date arranged by his friends would meet the poor version of him. The first date laughed and walked out in 10 minutes. The second refused to sit in the cheap restaurant. The third called him a loser pretending to be deep. One by one, they all failed the test. Until that one evening, when the single mom walked in late, apologetic, holding her son's hand. She said softly, "I hope you don't mind. I couldn't find anyone to watch him." He smiled for the first time in weeks and said, "I don't mind at all." And that's when everything began to change. The small restaurant buzzed with soft chatter and the smell of roasted fish. Plastic chairs squeaked as people moved. It wasn't the kind of place where billionaires went on dates, but that was exactly why he chose it. He sat across from her, pretending to study the menu, though his eyes kept drifting to the little boy who was coloring on a napkin. The boy's laughter filled the room, light and pure, untouched by the struggles his mother carried silently on her shoulders. "Would you like something to drink?" he asked gently. She smiled, embarrassed. "Just water. We're fine." Her tone was polite, but there was a quiet strength in her voice, the kind that only people who've been through storms develop. He nodded, pretending not to notice how her clothes were neatly ironed but worn at the edges. She didn't have much, yet she carried herself with quiet dignity. When the food arrived, he noticed she let her son eat first. She barely touched her own plate. "Why aren't you eating?" he asked. She hesitated. "I'll eat when he's done. That's how we do it at home." Something about that answer hit him deep. Every woman before her had complained about the cheap food, but this one was grateful. She thanked the waiter twice and even complimented the old restaurant owner on the taste. He found himself smiling, genuinely smiling, for the first time in years. Then came the moment of truth. As the dinner went on, she asked, "So, what do you do for work?" He froze for a second. This question always exposed the truth. He forced a shy laugh. "Oh, nothing special. I fix phones sometimes. Help my neighbor at his store." She nodded. No surprise, no judgment. Instead, she said softly, "That's good. Honest work is better than lazy wealth." He blinked. Lazy wealth? No one had ever said that to him. The conversation flowed easily after that. Laughter, stories, even the little boy showing his crayon art. By the end of the night, he felt something strange. Peace. When it was time to pay the bill, she quietly reached into her bag and said, "Let me help. I know things are tough." He stared at her, speechless. No one had ever offered to pay before, not even a little. Before he could respond, a voice interrupted them. A loud one. Hey, you again? It was one of the waiters, a man who had served him before, back when he visited as his real self, the billionaire version. The waiter's eyes narrowed, recognition flashing. Didn't I see you last month with security guards and... The single mom turned toward the man, confused. The billionaire's heart pounded. He needed to stop this man before the truth spilled out. The billionaire's pulse raced. He could feel sweat forming under his collar as the waiter stared, trying to place his memory. Didn't I see you? The waiter began again, louder this time. The single mom looked between them, puzzled. You two know each other? The billionaire forced a laugh, his voice shaky. No. He must be confusing me with someone else. I just have one of those faces. But the waiter didn't look convinced. His eyes narrowed as he tilted his head. Yeah, but you came here last time with men in suits. You even... Before he could finish, the billionaire coughed loudly, pretending to choke on his drink. The little boy gasped. Mommy, he's choking. She hurried around the table, patting his back, her eyes full of worry. The waiter, embarrassed and confused, backed away. I'm okay, the billionaire said, waving his hand. Really, I'm fine. But his heart was still pounding. Not from the fake cough, but from how genuinely she had cared. She didn't see a rich man or a poor man. She saw someone in trouble, and she moved without hesitation. After the waiter left, the billionaire leaned closer, smiling awkwardly. Thank you, you didn't have to do that. She smiled shyly. It's okay. You looked scared for a moment. He laughed softly. As they left the restaurant, the city lights flickered in puddles from the evening rain. The little boy ran ahead, splashing the water, laughing. You're good with him, the billionaire said quietly. He's lucky. She looked down, a shadow crossing her face. He doesn't have a father, so I try to be both mom and dad. It's not easy. He wanted to ask more, but something in her eyes told him not to. Pain lived there, old and deep, so he changed the subject. Would you like to go out again sometime? She hesitated. I'd like that, but I can't promise when. My job is long hours, and I can't always find someone to watch him. Bring him, he said softly. I don't mind. She blinked, surprised. Most men do. I'm not most men, he replied, almost forgetting that, in truth, he wasn't. Later that night, when he got into the old taxi heading back to his hidden mansion, he replayed her words again and again. I don't need gold to feel valued. He couldn't shake them. For years, he bought respect with money. But this woman respected him when she thought he had none. He looked out the window at the flickering city lights and whispered, maybe she's the one. But as his car pulled up near the mansion, he froze. There, standing at the gate, was the same waiter from the restaurant talking to one of the security guards. The waiter pointed toward the billionaire's car, and his heart sank. The car rolled to a slow stop. His driver turned and whispered, Sir, that's the waiter from the restaurant, right? The billionaire's chest tightened. Yes, don't let him see me. But it was too late. The waiter's eyes widened the moment he spotted the car's license plate. He marched forward quickly, anger and confusion mixed on his face. Wait! So it was you, he shouted. Why are you pretending to be poor when you live here? What's going on? The security guard tried to stop him, but the waiter kept talking. You made that poor woman believe you had nothing. She looked so happy, so honest. Why lie to her? The billionaire stepped out of the car slowly. For the first time, he didn't look like a billionaire or a poor man. He just looked tired. Keep your voice down, he said quietly. Please. The waiter glared at him. Why should I? You played with her feelings. People like you think everything is a game. The billionaire sighed deeply. It's not a game. I'm trying to find someone who loves me for who I am, not for what I own. The waiter hesitated, still angry but also curious. So you test him by lying? Would you believe me if I said I was rich on our first meeting? The billionaire asked. No one ever does. They just see money, not me. Silence hung in the air. Even the guards looked away. Finally, the waiter said quietly, You're still lying to her. That's not love, that's a trick. The words cut deep. He turned and walked toward the mansion, guilt burning in his chest. He told himself he would tell her the truth soon. Just one more date, one more test. Then he'd reveal everything. The next evening, he called her again. "I had a wonderful time," he said softly. "Can I see you again tomorrow?" She hesitated on the other end. "I don't know. I just lost my job. I might have to move soon." His heart dropped. "Move? Where?" "Somewhere cheaper. I can't pay rent anymore." That night he couldn't sleep. The image of her struggling with her child haunted him. He wanted to help, but he couldn't reveal his secret yet. So he did something unexpected. He called his lawyer and said, "Find that woman's landlord. Pay her rent quietly. She must never know it was me." The next morning, when she woke up, she found a note from her landlord. "Your rent has been covered for the next 6 months. A friend wanted to help." She stared at the paper, tears filling her eyes. Who would do this? As she hugged her little boy, she whispered, "Maybe good people still exist." But what she didn't know was that her good person had just stepped into deeper trouble. The waiter, the same one who knew his secret, had recorded everything on his phone, and someone else had just paid him a visit, a woman dressed in luxury, with cold eyes and a sharp smile. She whispered, "Show me the video. I think I know exactly who he's testing this time." It was a bright Saturday morning when the single mom received an unexpected call. A woman's voice, calm but sharp, said, "Meet me at the Rose Cafe at noon. It's about the man you've been seeing." The single mom frowned. "Who is this?" "Someone who wants to save you from heartbreak." Click. The call ended. She felt uneasy the entire morning, but curiosity got the better of her. She left her son with a neighbor and went to the cafe. When she arrived, a beautiful woman in designer clothes sat waiting. Her perfume filled the air. She smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. "Please sit," the woman said, sipping her coffee. "You don't know who you've been dating, do you?" The single mom stayed silent. The woman slid her phone across the table. "Watch this." On the screen, a video played. The billionaire stepping out of his luxury car, the waiter confronting him, and his own words clear as day. "I'm pretending to be poor to find someone who loves me for me." The single mom's hands trembled. Her throat went dry. "So it's true," the woman said coldly. "He's been lying to you, to everyone." "Why are you showing me this?" she whispered. "Because I used to date him," the woman replied. "He thinks money can buy anything, even love. I wanted you to see what kind of man he really is before he breaks your heart." The single mom couldn't breathe. The cafe felt smaller, louder, hotter. She pushed the phone away and ran out, tears blurring her eyes. That afternoon, the billionaire arrived at the small apartment with flowers and a warm smile. He had planned to tell her the truth. Finally, but when she opened the door, her eyes were red, her face cold. "So it was all a lie," she said, voice shaking. "Everything. The clothes, the stories, the cheap food. All fake." He froze. "Wait, please, let me explain." "No," she said, tears falling. "You made me believe we were the same. You let me open my heart while you played pretend." Her son peeked from behind her, confused. "Mommy, why are you crying?" The billionaire stepped forward, guilt heavy in his chest. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I just wanted to find someone real. And you're the only one who saw me for who I truly am." "Then why didn't you tell me?" she whispered. "Real love doesn't need tests." She closed the door slowly, the sound echoing like a final goodbye. He stood there, speechless. For the first time in his life, his money couldn't fix what was broken. As he turned to leave, he saw a small hand slip something under the door. It was a crayon drawing, a stick-figure man, a woman, and a little boy holding hands. Under it, the little boy had written in shaky letters, "Come back soon, friend." The billionaire closed his eyes. For the first time, tears fell down his face. He whispered, "I don't deserve them, but I'll earn them." And as he walked away, he made a silent promise to win their trust back, not with money, but with truth. He turned to leave, his footsteps heavy on the old stairway. Each step echoed with regret. He had almost reached the gate when he heard the door creak open behind him. "Wait!" Her voice trembled, but it stopped him instantly. Before he could turn, he felt a pair of arms wrap around him from behind, soft, shaking, and full of everything words couldn't say. He froze, afraid to breathe. She whispered, tears wetting his back, "I don't know why, but I can't let you walk away." He turned slowly, and their eyes met. Her anger melted into pain, and pain into something deeper, forgiveness. "I should hate you," she said softly, "but my heart won't let me." He gently touched her cheek. "Then let me spend the rest of my life proving I'm worth your heart." A tear slipped down her face, but this time it came with a smile. Her son peeked through the doorway again and giggled. "Does this mean we're friends again?" The billionaire knelt, smiling through his tears. "No, little man, it means we're family now." The woman took his hand, and together they walked back inside, not rich or poor anymore, just complete.